He's still trapped. Oh! Yo, this is a sick fight. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to another video, and today we're gonna be watching George Foreman, a board film documentary, and we're gonna learn more about the boxer. I'm excited. This is a recommended video, so let's just see who George Foreman is. Have no idea.
The devastating power of George Foreman is something of a legend.
Big George Foreman. In his career, he's copied the baleful stare of the man who once was his boxing hero, Sonny Liston.
Wow. Damn, everyone fought Sonny Liston or something? Oh my goodness.
Or Mike Tyson. There was Foreman.
Oh my goodness, he's a big boy.
Who scared opponents and spectators alike.
Did it, and he is knocked out.
He's a big boy. Oh my goodness, he's thick. Dude, he's a thick man.
Claimed what was once considered the greatest prize in sports. Twice. As two different fighters. Two different human beings.
Oh my goodness. Is that him old? Is that him at like 40 years old? I remember seeing him. Dude, he's a big boy.
Raised in Houston's 5th Ward.
An infamously impoverished community riddled with crime and violence.
It's such a shame when you're so poor and you don't want everyone else to know that you're so poor. Really, you're not poor, you're poor.
It was here Foreman became the king of the street fight.
Because I kept fighting, getting into fights, picking on people, pushing around. I was a bully.
Foreman found refuge and purpose inside the square circle.
It's crazy to see the great fighters all came from poverty. They had to like fight their way to get out of the situation that they were in, and George Foreman is again another one. Let's see how it turns out.
He began training at age 17.
Then all of a sudden, you get into boxing where anger is applauded.
Who got you involved in boxing?
There was a trainer, Doc Broder.
The 1968 Olympics were only a year away, but Doc promised to make George one hell of a boxer.
As a young man, he was regarded as one of boxing's most brutal contenders.
His sparring sessions aren't just a training routine. They are instead intense efforts by sparring partners to simply survive a 3-minute round with a man whose punching power is frightening.
Oh my!
1967, I had my first boxing match.
Well, as you have seen, we have some young bombers to prepare for the Summer Olympic Games in boxing.
I won it by knockout. It inspired me to be going to be a Golden Glove champion in San Francisco.
First time I'd ever heard his name. George was brand new. He had only been in a boxing ring for a couple of months at that time.
George raced through the Golden Gloves and into the Olympics.
Jolting right hand to the jaw.
Oh, he's down.
Uncanny power was too much for even veteran fighters.
George Foreman wins the gold medal of the 19th Olympiad.
For Foreman, boxing was a means to lift himself out of poverty.
Yep.
How much Foreman has progressed since his Olympic days remains to be seen.
Wow.
You know, even though you were having all this professional success at that time, you were pretty angry.
When I went to the Olympics, I saw boxing, and that image of boxing kind of resonated with me more than what I'm currently watching. But yeah, it's crazy to see that Olympic boxing and professional boxing are kind of two different, I guess, entities.
His first 40 fights, he knocked out 92.5% of his opponents.
Foreman with a left that is like a lamppost. A recurring piston, if you will.
Yo, these guys are always so deezed, man. These heavyweights, what do they feed them?
The three that really scared the hell out of everyone were Sonny Liston first, then George Foreman, who was like an improvement on Sonny Liston, and then Mike Tyson.
George mimicked his persona after the great Sonny Liston.
I met Sonny Liston. He became my role model. He had to be the most angry fella I'd met. He'd look right through you.
Oh, I remember all this.
Oh,
I remember all of this.
Utterly hostile manner about
Yeah, he just goes in and just does the job.
I came
Assassination.
to believe early on that George had acquired some of Sonny's characteristics directly from Sonny. He learned how to glower, and he learned how to punch.
George is doing his best imitation of Sonny Liston. All of a sudden, you have this stare coming at you.
George Foreman!
Snap him out.
He wanted to
Came back to reality.
To be seen as a monster.
Oh my!
It worked.
Oh, the music even adds more.
When I was in the ring, you really saw the best of me. Outside the ring, I was really some terrible fellow because I did some things to people that mostly, in the ring, I'm not ashamed of my boxing matches, but outside the ring, some of the things we did, I'm ashamed of to this day.
Dude! That's like a bulldozer, man. That's like one of those big balls going into the building, man. Just destroying a whole building. That's George Foreman. They're booing him?
Look at George pulverized.
Oh my goodness.
I thought
Dude, he's a tank.
I could knock any man out.
The media, his peers, and the fans all viewed him as the villain, the monster, who hurt and punished his foes with little remorse.
Foreman's dynamite power in both
That's a
hands
sport.
is making him the scourge of the heavyweight division.
Oh!
George Foreman is now the #1 contender for the heavyweight championship. And the question is, who's going to stop this Foreman steamroller? It looks like Muhammad Ali and even champion Joe Frazier will have to make room for this Houston Tornado, George Foreman.
I've just seen and watched Muhammad Ali. Phenomenal boxer. I haven't seen George or Joe Frazier, whatever his name is. So I think I'll be diving into that boxer later. But it's interesting that he's going to be part of this film and video. So I'll get to learn a little bit before we deep dive into him.
In his first title fight, Foreman would be pitted against fan favorite Joe Frazier.
Frazier had recently defeated Muhammad Ali and was viewed as the far superior boxer.
Conventional wisdom heading into the Frazier fight.
Zero loss.
George was a raw sort of rookie without the depth or the background to beat a great fighter like Joe Frazier.
Scoring 34 knockouts. He's 6'4" and has a reach of 78.5 inches. George Foreman, the challenger.
Those robes are so
Joe
cool.
Frazier had beaten Muhammad Ali and was undefeated. They didn't see how this young kid could win.
He was undefeated and was coming off the Ali win, and he was a 3.5 to 1 favorite.
I must break you.
Okay, so Joe Frazier versus Joe. No way.
And then he's got these hands that are literally like
He just drop him?
hands.
Yep.
And he just
George was powerful. There's no
Oh my
doubt about
goodness.
that. I mean, he was
Oh my
out there
goodness,
to
he's
get
just.
me.
His power seemed to be a weapon unlike any the sport had seen.
Oh my goodness, yo, he's sweet. Yo, he's dangerous.
Stand up to him.
Oh my god, that uppercut. Yo, George Foreman is a dangerous man.
It was absolutely devastating. No one could believe it. And from that
Dude.
point on, George was regarded as invincible.
How does he lose?
He was dropping death charges on me, man. I couldn't survive it.
Foreman demolished the great Joe Frazier, knocking him down 6 times.
Oh my god.
You've been known as the hardest puncher ever.
Is he actually known as the hardest puncher ever to exist, even to this current day? Is George Foreman the strongest demolition man when it comes to punching? Wow.
All I had was this one punch. And if I could hit you with it, I could take you out. If I missed you, you'd win on decision.
It's target practice for George Foreman.
Oh my god, he's just throwing hands.
When Joe Frazier literally tried to run away from him.
Yeah. Oh!
The winner is George Foreman.
Is that the title? Is that the title now? Wow, congratulations. I wonder how he loses.
To be heavyweight champion of the world, as soon as it happens to you, it's like John L. Sullivan.
Round 2.
Broderick, all is Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Mohammed. It's like they all just pour right in.
24 years
At that
old.
moment, you feel, I am the heavyweight champion of the world.
George was now a celebrity, and the couple was besieged by reporters.
It's that those guys weren't Tony Tubbs and guys like that. It was Joe Frazier and Kenny Norton.
Yes.
Frazier had split 2 fights with Ali.
I never thought that Mike Tyson was the scariest, in his prime, the scariest fighter. The person that I thought about was George Foreman.
Hold up. George Foreman was more scarier than Mike Tyson?
Well, to be a boxer, number one, you gotta be stupid. You gotta halfway be crazy.
We think we are likely to have a slugfest. We don't expect
Yeah,
the
you gotta be
fight to go
stupid to
all the
fight
way.
George Foreman.
That
Oh
quick punishing
my
right
goodness.
forced him for the
This is
second time.
Any of his fights, when he scored those big knockouts, he would really brutalize the guy before he got him out of there.
Final knockdown takes place.
Dude, he's just winding that arm up just to the body, man.
That impassive face.
Beyblade let it rip.
Foreman's being acknowledged as the winner. Roman still cannot get up.
Kenny Norton had split 2 fights with Ali, 24 rounds, and Ali was lucky to win the second one, and he broke Ali's jaw, and Foreman knocked them both out in 2 rounds.
And then turned around and lost to Muhammad Ali in 12 rounds on a split decision back in September. Combination of cheers and catcalls. Definitely the favorite here. As far as the crowd is concerned, is Ken Norton. As far as the odds are concerned, it's George Foreman.
The most menacing heavyweight of all time. It would be George Foreman.
I was going to be the best heavyweight that ever existed.
He is with Ken Norton. And the reason for that, of course, is that he doesn't like George Foreman.
I'm really curious to know what happens now. What?
Yeah, man. Yeah, the man went 24 rounds with me. Broke my jaw in the first round. I was in shape the second fight.
In those days, he was a bully.
He broke my jaw.
People around him were afraid of him. Foreman had really brutalized the people who trained him, and they were terrified of him.
Given the hell he gave me, as fast as I am, as accurate as I am, I couldn't whoop Ken Norton.
Oh my goodness, here we go.
The best in Joe Frazier. No doubt about it, I had beaten the best. People had something to say about that. I said, you know what? I'm gonna kill one of these fellows, then they'll shut up.
And it looks like Norton has really been staggered.
Foreman was a guy who destroyed Frazier, destroyed Kenny Norton.
Whipped by Kenny Norton, I knocked Kenny Norton out easily.
Once again, Muhammad Ali found himself in great demand. The WBC and the WBA mandated the fight. The public certainly wanted it, and the media clamored for it.
I think George Foreman will knock Muhammad Ali out, and it'll end Muhammad Ali's career.
Other boxers were scared, handlers were scared. The only person that didn't appear scared of Foreman was Ali.
The Foreman that fought Ali, 40-0, 37 knockouts. Unbeatable, the guy's never gonna lose.
Everybody was scared, but Muhammad Ali himself.
And Ali is getting the people to chant, Ali Bomaye. That means Ali kill him.
This is so cool. What?
No one never get a chance to talk much. By the time you get to know a fella, it's all over.
As for the fight itself,
Dude, I remember talking shit about George Foreman and being like, who is this like big boy kind of thing in this past video. I clearly remember, and I got hate in the comments for it. I now understand why those comments were there, and I agree with you guys. This era of boxing was unreal. No wonder you guys hate modern boxing or this current heavyweights that are just boxing right now. What? It is such a clear difference.
discussion centered not on who would win.
This is
but on how
hype,
much
man.
punishment Foreman would dish out.
The time may have come to say goodbye to Muhammad Ali.
And now we understand that George Foreman is about to make his way through the ring.
Because very honestly, I don't think he can beat George Foreman.
Cosell was convinced that Ali was washed up.
Washed. The washed Olympian, baby. The washed Olympian.
This guy was the closest thing to a human monster I'd ever seen before. He was certainly the scariest boxer.
Look at this now as they stare. Muhammad Ali beginning to talk to George Foreman. They're really putting the stare on each other.
I looked him in the eye to stare him down and said, "Oh, George, you were in school when I was beating."
Stop it. Yo, is this his record? I know you guys can't see, but it's 40-0. And before you guys go into the comments and just roast me to tell me how wrong I was, and I agree, just if you can, do me one favor, hit that subscribe button and like the video, and just while you're taking a break, you know, roasting me in the comments. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. But damn, bro. Wow.
The past 4 years, beyond 2 rounds in any fight.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go.
The one weakness
oh my goodness.
in this monster, who was thought of as unbeatable, was
he's
his
doing the
stamina.
grabbing now.
First round, all of us yelled out, "Get off the ropes."
Okay, so he's gonna be doing that grab the tricep, grab the neck.
Shut up, I know how to do it.
Well,
Okay.
The round was very even. Of course, actually.
And Ali totally got into the guy's head.
Okay,
He didn't
okay.
even realize it.
He's gonna out-stamina him. Okay. Oh man, this is gonna be great.
Muhammad Ali's fertile mind created the rope-a-dope.
Here we go, round number 2. The determined Ali got off his stool in between rounds. George Foreman sat down all the way. Ali leans on the rope.
Okay, he's doing that grabbing thing again.
Foreman all
God,
times from there. Anything of otherness you can think of.
He's still trying.
He fought just like
Yo, this is a sick fight.
Just lay on the rope and take it with him. This time he did it with character. He said, hey, I'm going to weather this storm.
The rope-a-dope was something that was invented by Muhammad Ali that night.
I must say, I don't understand those tactics, Joe, staying on the ropes and letting him hit
It just shows you the power of intellect and intelligence and how that can compete against anything.
Dude, okay, so I heard, I know of the rope-a-dope or whatever the thing is, like the Muhammad Ali thing where he just like rests his back on the ropes. It's kind of absorbing hits or use the back and bounce himself back. And it's basically covering distance, right? You can kind of go away and come back in close range so he misses. Oh man, dude, I'm just so pumped up with energy due to this fight that I'm like, there's so many things going in my brain. I think I just need to calm down, but that is wild. The rope-a-dope, I know the rope-a-dope. And I cannot believe it was this fight. I didn't know it was this fight where it was pulled out. So I kind of know who wins.
And believe me, I was
It's so cool.
Giant in the ring with
Seeing it.
I mean, a knockout on him. He stood up to me.
Right? Takes the momentum out. Takes his power out. He's taking his power out and using the... Wow.
George Foreman.
He still trash talks.
So strong.
Not supposed to do, leaning up against the rope.
Dude! How is he just taking these hits?
I had him beat. I really did.
Dude.
And really thought I had him beat up. His body had him tired.
Continues to talk.
Oh, he's tired now. Oh my goodness.
He does away with his opponents one after another in less than 3 rounds.
George not going that type of distance a
I
long
love this.
time. He was treading in water. You know, never been.
What round? Round 4. Oh my goodness.
George Foreman has gone in a fight.
So it's stamina. It's stamina. He's gonna lose due to stamina. Tires him up.
Missing the shots that he missed, it drained him.
Look at Foreman's face. He does look tired.
Nobody knew the strength of Muhammad Ali. He was manhandling just like Archie said, grabbing him.
Round 5.
And he emptied the guy's tank.
I was afraid he was going to get killed by a George Foreman that many of our young viewers don't know.
Oh my god, here we go, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude. Oh, he took that. He took that. Oh my god. This is a great fight. Young viewers like myself, I don't even think I was born yet.
I thought he was hurt. I thought his body was hurt. He came back. He hit Foreman with everything, and he winked at me.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. He went right over here to this corner.
You know, the guy
Amazing,
really was
amazing,
the
amazing,
people's
amazing,
choice.
amazing.
He was the people's choice because he loved them.
Dude, I love the energy.
Yes, I'd hate to predict any fight, but my goodness, those people who said Foreman would win in a flash.
He does the rope thing, I love.
Wow. About the 7th round, he asked me, "That all you got, George?" That was like a nightmare.
I couldn't believe it. I just knew I was going to knock him out in a few seconds. And after 8 rounds, down I'm laying on the canvas, listening to a referee, I was embarrassed.
Jesus. Bro. And he's down! Dude! Just like my jaw, it is on the ground.
In the most devastating.
He knocked him out.
To lose the coveted heavyweight championship of the world. I'd worked so hard to get it. And it doesn't, your life is going to change once more. From all of this confidence and to devastation.
He was beaten mentally more than physically.
Come home and I was angry for a long time. I figured I'd been betrayed by my managers. I'd been given things in my water to roast or lose. I had all the kind of excuses that filled me with hatred and revenge. I felt like I lost everything, not just the championship of the world, but I lost myself as a man.
Oh, dude, that's gotta suck. Your confidence is basically the main thing. You lose confidence, it's already done because you beat yourself mentally, which is why I think Muhammad Ali is so great. It's because his mental was so strong. Trash talk a 40-0 George Foreman, the monster, the behemoth himself, the boulder to a building, dude. And he can still come out and trash talk even while fighting, have like a technique. Everyone's scared of him except Muhammad Ali. Amazing, dude. My jaw has been on the floor for the whole time these two have been fighting, and I didn't know if I could pick it back up. Okay, it felt like George Foreman when he got knocked out by Muhammad Ali. It was on the ground and in shock. Beautiful, beautiful fight.
It felt that Foreman's psyche was materially damaged by the disaster in Zaire of 15 months ago. Foreman's stamina having become suspect in the Zaire affair.
After the defeat, the mystique of Foreman had vanished.
The intimidating bully destroyer of worlds persona was replaced by questions about Foreman's boxing skills.
If Foreman is to come back and get another shot at the crown, he must win this fight, and it would help to win it impressive. The face of George Foreman, and for that matter of Ron Lyle, each speaking for itself. Just look at this.
I love that. George Foreman, the destroyer of worlds. He was basically known as the atomic bomb in boxing.
He would immediately be tested by fellow brawler Ron Lyle.
We're about to bring you what we think promises to be a slugfest, a legitimate heavyweight contest.
One of the great back and forth wars in boxing history.
A good right by Lyle, and he's got
oh my God, did he just hit
He's got him in
George?
trouble.
I was hit so hard I didn't even feel it until I hit the canvas.
Foreman is down. It started with a right, then a left.
I've never been hit so hard in my life.
Now Foreman's fighting back. Foreman trying to hold together.
Oh!
Now George struck back. Now.
Oh! Dude, these two are just battleships, man. Two battleships, just
every boxing
full
match,
power.
world title match would have ended like George Foreman, Ron Lyle heavyweight title match. There wouldn't be any UFC.
No defense, man. What
some
the?
punches, and just speaking in general terms, you said some punches are so ferocious.
Dude, I love the guy. Look at the guy up there in the white. You can see he stood up and he's just doing the exact same thing I am. Dude, this is I don't know how to understand why people even watch boxing today. If boxing like this back in the day was this extreme hype, nothing compared to what modern boxing is. Nothing.
Ferocious that they don't hurt. They actually will interrupt communication between the tower and the ground.
Foreman goes down. Foreman goes down. Lyle fights back.
Again, if only it had hurt, I would not have gotten up. It was like you are no longer the same person. You see your legs wiggle, and you're not in control of yourself.
Bambi legs, man. Bambi legs.
Now Lyle is
Jeez!
hurt. Now Lyle
These
is
are like
hurt.
two warships, man. Just
What an
bulldozing
incredible
punch,
fight.
no defense, just
Utterly
straight
without boxing
attack.
skill.
Oh my God.
Just punching away. Each fighter in turn leaving himself open.
Dude, the crowd is going nuts. I love the crowd.
This time it may be over. This time it may be over.
Lyle's not going to make it, Lyle. He's not going to make it.
A knockout in the 5th round.
He won in spectacular fashion, but the rematch with Ali was not given.
George, you think Ali's maybe backing down from another meeting with you?
There's no telling what he's doing.
I would love a rematch.
I was fueled by a lot of anger, and I walked around with that for years.
Oh, I love it. I'm crazy, man. I'm crazy. Lock me up. How many fights do these guys do in a year? Oh, he goes Joe Frazier again? Okay. Like he beat Joe Frazier
Instead, he
and
would
then
do
got
battle
up Muhammad
with
Ali.
Joe Frazier again.
Okay. I have a feeling Joe Frazier's gonna get this one.
First fight.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Relax with the comments. I'm wrong. So his only loss was against Ali?
Dreams a whole new dream. Another match against Muhammad Ali.
In my mind, there only exists one piece of tension, and that's for the heavyweight championship of the world.
And I would like to avenge the only defeat I ever had against you know who.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give him no publicity.
Still, the rematch with Ali was not given. George's love for the sport of boxing had begun to wane. He would lose a close decision to Jimmy Young.
Hold up, why do the best boxers not fight each other? Like in UFC, whoever has the title, you know, holds the title, and then there's boxers that are trying to battle each other for the right to fight the best. If George Foreman is the best contender for the heavyweight championship and he's beating everyone else who is in the top ranks, he should be scheduled to fight for the heavyweight regardless. Boxing should have a commissioner who just says there is no ifs or buts. You don't get to pick and choose. He's ready for it. You're gonna fight him.
And Jimmy Young, who said he had a religious experience after the loss to Young. Others called it
Jimmy won?
frustration in Puerto Rico in 1977.
I guess decision.
He would retire unceremoniously.
His
second loss.
Okay, man, you know, you come back, it was just a fight. But then all of a sudden, things started happening in that room.
He was rushed to the hospital and the press was told that Foreman had become overcome by the heat. But George felt he had suffered more than a momentary blackout.
The feared brute, known as Big George Foreman, disappeared from the public consciousness.
Oh, this is now a different George Foreman now.
During a 10-year break from boxing, George Foreman contemplated what Ali had taken from him.
One of the beautiful things that he did is he acknowledged the ability of Muhammad Ali and acknowledged that loss and put a shrine up in his home.
This is the proof that I was in the fight with him. Punched me around the eye.
I started to not only be happy about my life, but be happy about the life I lived before and put them together and become an evangelist.
14 years ago, Foreman retired from boxing to preach the word of God.
The little fame and fortune we get is not going to follow us in the grave, brother, sister.
He would find his peace in his faith, serving as a minister for the next 10 years.
During
mental
that
health is no joke.
At any time, did you have the desire to come back?
10 years, I didn't even shadow box.
He became a terrific father.
You've got 5 sons, 5 daughters. I know you're very proud of all of them.
They're all named George.
Good for him.
I named all my sons George Edward Foreman.
In 1984, he had started the George Foreman Youth and Community Center.
He opened his own youth center, emptying his entire savings to do so.
Giving money for scholarships for kids to go to school. I had to keep that up.
Wow.
He would hold fundraisers to keep the center going, but as his money ran out, George was in danger of losing it all.
The youth center started to take every dime I could get. It started costing everything to get a foundation, lawyer fees, building.
Was it just poorly managed? Were the people who were in charge of helping him do all this, were they at fault for letting it crumble? I'm not sure how it was back in the day with funding and publicity and to have it kind of like explode like that, but I'm assuming if he's doing something good for someone like the kids in the community, I would expect it for them to try their best and kind of bring it up. I wonder if the modern era of technology would have benefited him more, like if he was in today's era. I wonder how much bigger his community and his centers would be in this time.
I wanted to go out and do myself, and I ran out of money, and that's the reason I even got myself back into boxing.
13 years after losing his title, George Foreman began the seemingly impossible task of regaining it.
I said, I got to go back into boxing. I asked my wife, I said, what do you think? She said, they're going to kill you. Don't do it.
You look, you're 300 pounds,
even your wife.
You're too old. You'll never be champ of the world, because they thought I wanted it overnight. But I looked in the mirror and said, you know, they're telling the truth. I'm pretty old here.
Tomorrow night, veteran boxer George Foreman will put on the gloves and climb back into the ring after almost a decade in retirement.
But I'm going to start from the bottom. I know how to promote. I know how to recreate. I know how to get myself back in shape.
Just as unceremoniously as he had retired, he returned, fighting no-name opponents and journeymen.
Ooh, that's
so
he just killed his liver.
On a scale, I was 315 pounds.
Yo, he a big boy. Oh my goodness. Dude, he makes the big boys look small boys.
No, it isn't. It should have been. You went against the ropes.
he bounced back from the ropes. He's like, I told you I'm fine. He's like, no, I'm not.
People started to take him seriously because they were tantalized by a charming, fat old heavyweight. I just swooned at their gullibility.
George was viewed as a joke, held up as an example of the decline of the sport of boxing. cash grabbing on his part.
Was he hitting that log with the back of an axe?
Past accomplishments.
Well, George Foreman wins on a TKO. It is his 8th straight wins.
An aging, overweight has-been.
They laughed at me.
Ooh.
And people wrote me from all over the world, George, don't do it.
Dude, they just fall down like a pile of
The
cards.
one thing they all had in common who would write me, there wasn't a dime in the mail.
Carefully and quietly,
Damn.
He rounded himself back into boxing form.
They laughed at me and I fought one fight after another. One after another. They laughed. The more I win, the more they would joke. George Foreman's not fighting anyone.
That is George Foreman, the 39-year-old ex-champ.
It's crazy how people turn on you in boxing.
As his competition rose, opponents were dead set on proving the old man was finished.
Yeah, he still has that unbelievable punching power, even though he's got a belly and he looks like he's shambling around in his pajamas. He's still got something.
Yeah, and that was my exact thinking when I saw a video clip of him knocking someone out, and it said George Foreman against some other dude, and I was like, oh, who is this like old guy? Like, he looks like just a big blob. That's what I was also thinking, like, oh, this is a joke, but clearly it's not. So damn, that's a my bad. That's a my bad, guys.
But here he is 3 years later, so I have to salute him. Salute him for pulling off one of the great scams in boxing history.
Scams?
Trust me, is saying a lot.
Oh my god, dude, these guys are punching bags. Jesus. Dude. I don't think a scam can beat the living crap out of people. Oh my god, dude. It looks like he's in a, like one of those hitman. He just comes in close, one punch, they just drop. Like they poison their drink. Wild. Doesn't even know where he is.
Unlike in his first go-around, George was now a fan favorite.
Full menu of
his
punches.
His lovable charisma and willingness to poke fun at himself endeared him to the masses.
In boxing, no one is bigger, more admired, or more in demand.
By George, I think he's got it.
George had become the undisputed king of the big cell.
Because George is very popular, and he deserves the popularity that he's gotten because he's a natural.
Nice.
There's nothing phony about him.
Appearing on magazines, commercials, his own sitcom.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him.
You only saying that because it's true.
Foreman the boxer was famous, but Foreman the salesman was a phenom.
George III. I was a salesman. I'd learned to be a salesman. I had 10 years out of boxing to be an evangelist, and I'd understood if you don't really make some noise and make people pay some attention, no one is going to stop and listen to you.
Same as right now.
He became the spokesperson for a household grilling product, the George Foreman Grill, earning Foreman nearly $5 million a month from sales.
Wait a minute. The Foreman Grill is named after him. Did he make it, or did they just use his likeness? I had no idea.
And all of a sudden, the checks just started rolling in. This thing sold over 100 million.
Right, and to give the check some context too, you end up being bought out, I think, for something like $140 million after what you had already made.
This is my George Foreman family-sized grill that No, it isn't. It's my George Foreman griddle that cooks pancakes.
Everybody likes a jolly fat man.
Yo, this guy's
One thing
sick.
people love about him, you saw right there, the highest knockout
68
percentage
fights.
in the history of all heavyweight champions. Part of George
Monster.
odyssey in this comeback, up and down the scale.
I can't believe I thought any less.
Yesterday's weigh-in.
Yes, his first return fight, he weighed 267. Here he is 3 years later, 263.
Yo, this is unreal. I know you guys can't see. It's 66-1. He lost 2 fights. Muhammad Ali and that other plug that he just basically was like decision one, and then he left and retired. And out of the 66 fights that he won, 62 are knockouts. And he even said it himself. The only reason you won is because I didn't knock you out. That's, yo, wow.
Heard of the diet formula.
Why are we still talking about Floyd Mayweather?
I think George has developed slim slow. It doesn't appear like George is hitting hard, but once he hits the guy, he totally paralyzes his opponents.
Oh my god, dude. I'm surprised he hasn't killed anyone.
Boom,
oh!
Rodriguez goes down.
I also love how you see like Mike Tyson say, great timing. That's the second time I heard it, so I know now he plugs those in.
Foreman, who demolished Joe Frazier to capture the world crown 17 years ago, is making a remarkable comeback. Now shaven-headed, he's recorded 22 victories on his way to another shot at the world title.
Joe Frazier also came back after that.
For a super fight against heavyweight champion Holyfield was in high demand.
That's cool. That's cool.
In what would be, at that time, the biggest payday in heavyweight history.
George Foreman 24-0 since the comeback. That's
here
wild.
I is. Mark, with a 28-year-old Evander Holyfield, undisputed heavyweight champion, and for the first defense, he's fighting a 42-year-old George Foreman.
The pundits were convinced the fight was more farce than anything.
So a lot of people made a big deal about this as being
Holyfield,
a farce beforehand. You think that George, even though you say Holyfield is going to win, you think Foreman has a chance to win this fight?
Dude, he's a big boy, man.
No one was laughing.
Dude, if they had connected that, dude, he makes Holyfield look small. And Holyfield looks like a D's guy. Get him, get him.
A drama entitled The Old Guy Hung in There. Took a beating but went the distance, kept coming and trying.
Okay. Okay.
Holyfield blasted Foreman, connecting clean, but Foreman kept coming.
Okay. Ooh, these are...
Seemingly impervious.
These are wild fights.
George seems to have absorbed those punches in the previous round rather well there.
He did. Surprisingly well.
Let's see.
Foreman aimed Evander's best shots and pushed forward. And though he was slow and plodding, his power could turn any fight with a single punch.
Well, here he comes.
Go, 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 go. Let's go, George. Let's go, George. George. Hit him. Oh, yeah.
The first round I gave to George because I think he legitimately hurt Evander the last 30 seconds.
Round 6.
My goodness.
For 12.
Round 6. Oh.
Heavyweight title.
Any who thought the bout was just for spectacle had been silenced.
Those are the punches that are put down. All the heavyweights that Evander...
Well, this is for the title. Okay, come on. Come on, George. Oh. Dude, these are like wild fighters back in the day. Dude, he's just absorbing them, man, like a sponge.
Scoring heavily. Flushing George Foreman's face.
I can feel it in my jaw, man. I can feel it in my jaw. I'm surprised his face is still intact.
Some tremendous shots.
Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Oh my goodness. Still nothing, okay. Wow. I don't know who wins. I don't know who wins.
Undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the real deal, Evander.
Dang.
Foreman, it's trite to say, but Foreman was a winner in many respects here tonight as well.
Ultimately, Foreman was beaten on points, but the way he fought proved that the second coming of Big George Foreman was no mirage.
Like the eighth wonder of the world. Never will you ever see this again.
George,
it'll take 50 years before another generation sees something like this. We're a man closer to 50, 60 than he is to 20 and 19. Show the whole world by going toe-to-toe, and the young man is holding on for his breath. And we keep going. Boy, I tell you, what is happening to the world?
Hells yeah.
Senior citizens around the world can be proud of themselves. Hip, hip, hooray!
Like a lot of fans, I started to think to myself, George, you've thrilled us, you've been great, you've inspired us, you've entertained us. But now, please, isn't it time to go back to the old fishing hole?
Man, these guys are still thinking he's a joke.
Get hurt.
A few days after Michael Moore beat Evander Holyfield, I got a call from George. And I said, George, you can't kid me. You want to fight Michael Moore. And he said more than anything else in the world.
When Michael Moore defeated Holyfield to become the new champion, George Foreman had...
Is Michael a good fighter? I have never heard of him. I don't know who he is. He beats Holyfield. Holyfield seems like a tank as well. And if George couldn't beat Holyfield, but Holyfield gets beat by Michael Moore, boxing is anything can happen, I guess.
At age 45 would get one final shot.
I knew what Teddy told me, like, he's a big con.
And I just look at him like,
Go get me a sandwich and sit down.
so fake.
Featuring the clown king of the sport, the larger-than-life George Foreman.
Clown King?
There are a lot of skeptics out there who
Yo,
think that George
that's
now
disrespectful.
is more King Khan than King Kong. But George hasn't earned this championship
I really hope George
shot
beats him.
as a fighter.
Wow.
He hasn't fought in a
Rude.
year and a half, and on that, auspicious occasion,
Rude.
he lost to Tommy Morrison.
With the fighters he's fighting, he's going to
I
have
know
to
who
punch
Tommy
and
is
punch
as
and
well.
try to club him and just keep beating him. But I don't think that's going to happen.
So you see no chance that George can win the fight?
Very little.
Very little.
Foreman looked to become the oldest heavyweight champion in boxing history. But despite the optimism of the crowd, few gave Foreman more than a puncher's chance.
Middle-aged men don't knock out 25-year-old heavyweight champions.
He would be the oldest to win the
Well, they
heavyweight
better.
title by a huge margin over Walcott, who was 37, when he beat Ezzard Charles.
I always thought
Oh, I really hope he
George
beats him up.
Foreman from the Rumble in the Jungle had the brain of the George
Okay, so
Foreman
he does
fought
have
Michael
good
Moore.
records.
That's the greatest
Okay.
fighter ever.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Wow, I thought this was just in video games. Holy, that's a 6 aim. Let's get ready to rumble.
You got him fought in a long
Yo,
time.
beat him up.
He moves in there.
I want to see
He
it.
goes at a different angle. He's a southpaw. He wouldn't stand still for Holyfield. Why would he stand still for you? And George said, you watch, somewhere late in the fight, he's going to come stand in front of
And
him.
in the press, the feeling was that Michael would be too sharp, too fast, too young, and Big George too slow and too big and too...
Wait a minute, is this? I know who, because I've watched the knockouts. This is where I called George a big boy, and he knocked some dude out in the yellow shorts, and everyone was commenting, dude, that yellow shorts guy is also a really good fighter. So technically, spoilers alert.
This
Let's go, George, George. Yeah.
A man with a
Show him what a scam is, boy.
People over the last 2 or 3 months think this
Show him what a scam is. Show him the Clown King, baby.
In danger of real and serious injury.
The shadow of Ali loomed large over the career and legacy of Foreman.
The vibrations against him, the planets against him, and already he done lost the first 5 rounds. Michael Moore will go back to Teddy Atlas. Big George will lumber back slightly slower.
The hardest part of the fight is over. Now you know it's not make-believe anymore.
It's not make-believe anymore.
Partners were better.
The hardest part of the fight is over. You know what he's made of. Our sparring partners were better. We're round 8. Foreman's trailing. Losing,
I can't wait.
But not out of the fight.
Get all you got, George.
This is where he goes bulldozer.
That's a fantastic short left cross from Moore, wrong-footed and sent Foreman stumbling.
George Foreman had never openly sought specific redemption for his demise against Ali and Zaire, but it's revealing that he chose to wear the same trunks on this night that he had worn in the jungle 20 years before.
George Foreman in the shorts he wore that night in Zaire, the Rumble in the Jungle, when he lost his world heavyweight title.
I told you.
I'm the champion of the world.
But he always saw the ghost of
Goosebumps.
Muhammad Ali. And
Everybody has felt all along that you're always chasing
Hair is
the
up.
ghost of Ali. Does this make you catch that
Great
ghost?
video.
I'm the greatest. You don't have any business in the ring with me.
That's it!
Yes!
It's a short right hand! There is no way he's going to knock from that! It happened! It happened!
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Chasing the ghost of Ali. Does this make you catch that ghost?
Yeah, I've exercised the ghost once and forever.
Sure.
20 years after being beaten by Ali, Big George Foreman recaptured the heavyweight championship, the oldest champion in the history of boxing.
Good job. Great video.
I'm not the greatest, but I'm the hungriest. And those guys were younger, stronger, faster, more
great video.
sophisticated. But the one thing they lacked, and I had, was good old
Great
hunger.
video.
Nobody brings it home like Joe Vincent. Nobody.
Make it so.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Great job, board film. You've done it again. You keep making dub videos, and I appreciate you, and I hope everyone who has been watching this video up to this point to make sure you go on his YouTube and subscribe. They have been putting so much work into these videos. I am learning so much and appreciating the older generation of boxing, and I am eating my words. George Foreman, the story of him, it's phenomenal, and I appreciate everyone who's been watching up to this point, who's been following along in my journey to learn more about boxing. And I understand why now you guys get so mad when I talk about modern day boxing. This is nothing compared to modern day. Like, I've seen a couple glimpses in the here and there, and it doesn't give me any type of like hair rising goosebumps. But if you guys made it to this point, like I said, make sure to hit board film, drop them a like, and subscribe to their channel. But if you enjoyed my reaction to it, hit the subscribe button to follow my journey to learning more about boxing and its history the right way. I'm gonna do my best to find the videos that have the most accurate information and videos that really tell the story how it was back in the day, because this really makes me feel like I was in that era. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers for now. George, you are the foreman, the grill. George, you are the grill, the foreman. Yeah, grill. Yeah, right. I got the bill. Peace.